Gunnar win the returning job solely on returning, or did that have a lot to do with what he adds as a receiver too?
Yeah, no, I think he has a lot of versatility. He obviously did, some good things offensively in the preseason, but he also did some good stuff for us returning even before I got here. He's a proven returner that's done it at a high level, and he had a good camp. So excited to see what he can do.
He hasn't returned a lot of kickoffs in the last couple of years. Just what have you seen from him? You go look in the past. What gives you confidence that he can fill that role?
Yeah. Well, I think number one, this will be a new kickoff rule to him, and because of that, it does take a different run skill than it did prior. With hang time being a premium with the last couple years ago with those kickoffs, and now not being as much of a frequent thing, and then the formation restrictions that are with the rules. I think his skill set does lend to have success in this, because it almost seems somewhat more like a punt return play, because a lot of guys are on the same level, no different than a punt would be.
What are you looking for from your kickoff return this season?
Yeah, I think number one is ball security. It's the first play of offense, so retaining possession of that ball is critical. And every opportunity we get, we want to have efficient returns. I think that's a huge component to being a good kickoff return. Yes, the mentality is always going to be, let's score every time. But the fact of the matter is, we want to give the ball back to the offense. But if we're getting explosives out of that too, then I'm looking at that as a successful play. So efficiency will be the biggest thing.
How much more added value is added to having two quality returns back there, because you're going to get less touchbacks, where maybe in the past you just have one guy back there?
Yeah, no, I think it's important. Those guys both have to be great ball handlers, number one, and both guys will get touches throughout the year. There's no guarantee that one guy could be a primary returner and the other guy's a secondary returner, because you're seeing a lot of skilled kickers now being able to put the ball outside the numbers each way, in the middle of the field, in the alleys. So it requires both guys to have great communication, great ball skills, and also the run skill to be able to have success with it.
Is decision making now more important than maybe it used to be, where they would kick it out of the end zone, or they'd kick it 3 yards into the end zone, and then you had a rule, or you know what I'm saying, if it's at the 5, they really have to kind of really know on the fly, this is right on the boundary, it's on the, what do I do here?
Yeah, so I think decision making has always been a premium. That's never really left. Now, the one thing I will say is the decision making time is a little bit shorter now, just because you're not seeing a lot of hang time with the kickoffs. So it requires a lot of impulse decisions. And to me, those impulse decisions always go back to what they know best. If what they know best is the things that they practiced in practice, then they're ready for any situation and rules that come up.
What growth have you seen from Jude just since he arrived here last year?
Yeah, tons. Obviously, the number one thing he's always had is that leg strength. But then you're starting to see him understand the wind patterns, in our stadium and obviously on our practice field. And then also just the moxie he's been able to develop with those other guys in the room. I think those guys have been good pros to him, and he understands what it takes to have success at this level. And it was good to see him have success during the preseason. So arrow up on Jude, and I'm excited that he's back.
Between Gunnar and Casey, I'm used to the Giants always having a special teams captain. There was not one voted this year. Who do you look to in that role? Yeah,
so I don't necessarily being a captain is a huge honor, and that is held very sacred to your teammates, and it's coveted as coaches. I think both Casey and Graham have great leadership qualities to them. So just because they were not voted captains doesn't mean they're restricted from speaking up. I think those guys never get deterred. When they have to say something, they say something. So I think those two guys are really good leaders in the special teams room, as well as other guys that are returned, like Chris Manhertz, Chris Board, Flanagan Fowles, Gunnar. We have a really good veteran group, and I hear a lot of conversations with them, not only in the meeting room, but you hear it on the practice field. How do you see this? How do you see me playing this? That to me ultimately is a sign of leadership as well. And you see that with a lot of guys on this football roster.
What is Bo Brady, obviously a guy you claimed, what does he bring on the special teams areas?
Yeah, so he's a physical presence. He is a true see ball, get ball player that studies the game the right way. And you see his study habits show up because you see him make full speed decisions. There is no hesitant play in his style of play, and that's the thing I respect most about him. When he's convicted about the play he's supposed to make, he goes and gets it. So I'm excited to work with him, excited to get to learn him a little bit more over these next couple of weeks.
Was he somebody on your radar last year in the draft, or somebody just kind of got on your radar now?
Yeah, so both in the draft, and then also playing Baltimore last year. A guy that showed up. So, just being able to have multiple interactions with him has shown up, and I'm excited to work with him.
So Russ out here yesterday, working on holding, I guess, like emergency holding and stuff. What's his experience level with that? Is it something he's done before?
He's done it. Yeah. He's done it every year since he's been in the league.
Oh, really?
And he did it in college as well. So that's been a skill set of his that it's really valuable for us to have a backup holder. And that's with, obviously anything. He just gives us a little bit of flex in that position.
You've obviously cycled through a lot of guys since Bryce went down, and that Gunnar spot, I guess, next to Art Green. Who stepped up and sees that role?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's been a few guys actually. Bo Collins is a rookie, has been great in that role. Tay Banks, Flott have both been good in that role as well. Art Green obviously has done it for us at a high level. So there's, and then Nick Jones. I think all those guys have the capability to help us on Sundays. All those guys have a good mindset if we ever need them to go execute those reps, that they're willing to do it and do it at a high level.
Singletary hasn't returned many kicks in his career. What gives you confidence? What do you see from him that translates to that role? Yeah,
he's got great ball skills, number one. The run skill is there because the vision as a running back shows up. So he sees the game really well. I've made this comment before last year. This new kickoff return looks more like offense or run game. So you see a lot of running backs have success in this new system because of them being able to see and diagnose return holes, set up blocks. So he's shown us that he has a skill set to do that. So if he ever gets opportunity, I'm excited to see what he does with the ball in his hands.
Take a few more. How is Deontay? He's been a starter on defense around here. How is he take to the Gunnar role? And some young guys who are starters.
He's a great team.
That's like the second priority for them. You know what I mean? How do you see that with him?
Yeah, he's a great teammate, number one. Unselfish and wants to do right by everybody. So he's awesome in that regard because he knows he has a skill set to be a high-level corner. He also has a skill set to be a high-level special teamer. So every chance he gets to play football in general, I think he embraces it. And that's the thing I respect most about him, is that he doesn't blink twice about it, and he just wants to play football, and he's excited to do so.
It seems like his skill set is really very strong for that role because he is strong, he is fast. I mean, would you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, no, I mean, he is, like you're saying, he's big, fast, and strong. Those fundamentals obviously show up defensively, and that's why he's had success in that position. And whenever you have a guy like that has had success in whether it be a primary position on offense and defense, those true fundamentals show up again on special teams because we do block destruction, we do tackling, all those things that they're asked to do defensively show up in our kicking game as well.